As the Panasonic Pony of Hope gallops around our village and nobody feeds it, you can tell that she's dying, and it's the saddest thing you've ever seen in your life. Did Panasonic shoot themselves in the foot with that S9 release, or were there problems a-brewin'? Today we look, there's a bunch of Japanese articles. Panasonic copied a Nikon photo to release it. There's a lot to get to here.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So the first thing we must discuss, Panasonic in the S9 launch released a photo taken by a Nikon camera. The Nikon ambassador was like, that's my photo. What are you doing? This is a Nikon camera. Before we get to that ordeal, we're right now on the superior Nikon camera to Panasonic. ZF with the 85mm 1.2, ridiculous. I just bought the 85mm 1.8 G lens from Yonder Year, and we're gonna find out if it's better. It was $250 Canadian, this was $3,000 used. Yeah, let that sink in. We'll switch very soon. So I don't know what you know about our world, but right now we're in the phase of the Great Awakening, they call it. There's astrology factors to it where light is shone on the darkness and all the lies will be revealed. That's the phase of humanity we're in right now, and it's happening. You keep seeing companies get caught in scandals, Insta360 hiding sponsorships, Panasonic using Nikon photos to promote their Panasonic camera. All these things will be revealed, so that's why I just feel so comfortable, because I'm just honest, and I always tell you, hey, this video is sponsored by that bush back there. It's fun. I'm actually honored to be sponsored by the people. People just sometimes donate some gear and it's like, hey, that company's not gonna send it to you. Like, here you go, buddy. You go give them hell. And then we test it, and I love testing gear, and thank you all so much for the help. And I buy things on my own when I sell your terrible gifts from the past, you know it. So Panasonic launches the S9 using Nikon photos to promote, hey, look what we can do. And it's like, no, you can't. Nikon can. And thank you. And there's people in Japan are outraged, and Panasonic was already at the bottom. This is not looking good. So Panasonic, I went to Thailand. I tried to see what kind of Panasonic things I could get. I had the G85, and she was like, Panasonic, what? She didn't even have Panasonic cameras in there. She didn't even know what the hell they were. They were like, well, of course we don't have that. Do you have Panasonic cameras?
Sony camera.
Sony, Panasonic?
Panasonic, no.
No, they're no good? Panasonic, nobody likes Panasonic. Okay. And it's not just Thailand, it's everywhere. Aiden Camera, I go in there, they're like, we're not getting the GH6 when it was coming. We're not ordering the G9 II, because not only are they so hard to sell, apparently, they're just the bottom feeders, even though I want them to do well, and I could totally foresee an S2H surpassing the A7S III and be like, yep, we're back in L mount, and I get my Leica 50mm f2, 22. And like, I'd be super happy with that. I hope Panasonic, they have the best stave in the business. They have all the tools, but there's something about them that has this stigma. You just look at them and like, you're like something's wrong with you. But I've talked to several camera shops, and they're not huge fans of Panasonic, not only because they don't sell well, but don't quote me on this, but like when you order a bunch of Panasonic cameras to sell, other companies don't make you order so many, and they let you return them or something like that. Whereas like you order Panasonic, you're stuck with them no matter what. Like, okay, these aren't selling. Okay, do you want them back? Like, nope, that's all on you, buddy. And there's just little things like that on the business side where Panasonic is the worst of all companies to deal with. And there's lots of little stories out there on the web. If you're swimming out there, there's a guy who like tried to get a rebate for a Panasonic thing and they wouldn't honor it. I don't know what he did. Like, it was all within the rules, but there's some fine print that's not even on the ticket. And it was like, they won't honor it. Like, it was such a dick move. If you look on the B&H website, I always go there just to see like what lenses are there for each system. Okay, maybe I've overlooked that one. L mount is the only one they don't list. in the quick tab thing. You go into lenses and it's like RF, Sony. There's 6 camera companies basically. And Panasonic, I know there's Micro Four Thirds there, but that's part Olympus. But L mount, it's not even on the quick menu. You have to like go into another menu and it's like, oh, you wanted L mount? Oh, really? Okay, please do. 40% off. Okay, once this cloud passes, let's switch to my new Nikon G lens. 85mm 1.8, slightly less tonus, but potential for more 3D pop. And if it looks good to me, I could see a rabbit hole of situations where I'm getting the 24mm 1.4 and then just all these old Nikon F-mount G glass. Could you even believe it? Next to me is an uncouth, uncivilized 2D pop type of person. He has no job. He doesn't bring joy to society. He's in the second dimension. He can't escape his own thoughts. It's sad to see that costed $3,000? Wow, and that was used. That was a used price. Nobody wants it, do they? You're trying to sell it? Yeah, I can see why. $250, that's more like it, right? Budget and better. That's sad. Oh boy, modern vintage touch. Hopefully I'm in focus. The odds are not good. I have to sneak my way into the shot with Nikon because I have to put the responsibility that's not the word, responsiveness down so like it doesn't hunt all the time. And so like I have to obtain focus near the camera and then sneak back into my shot on both lenses, and it's a pain in the ass, but hot damn, here we are. Nikon G 1.8. Okay, so there's a bunch of articles that have been floating around. Some of these are kind of old, so don't worry about that, but there's one that was saying Panasonic's thinking of exiting the camera business. Really what they're doing is they're separating their like microwaves and air conditioners and batteries from the camera stuff. And they're, I don't know, they're just segmenting better. I think Sony did that years ago. So it's not like, oh my God, they're getting rid of the camera. Like, but there are some worries that there's no prospect of improving profits with their cameras. And they're just like, we're in last place. We have like 8% market share. Least desired camera on the business, and they're worried. Obviously they're saying like crisis situation, what the hell are we doing? They had all these goals to set for the camera industry and they didn't meet any of them. It was like one of the 3 was met, and that's like a third distant lost cousin. I imagine they had lofty goals like #1 full frame camera or #1 most used for video, and all these little specs and achievements, and they never did it because they took way too long with phase detect autofocus. So most people would have wanted a GH4. Most people got it. And it's like, that damn autofocus. And then the A7S II came out and they're like, damn, full frame, low light. Oh, this is so much better. But I missed the Panasonic. The usability was so good. And that stupid autofocus. Even Sony had contrast detect back then, and it was decent. It was good contrast detect. It didn't hunt like Panasonic, and it just took them so long. And then finally they're here with it, but what did they do? Like, they copied a Sony A7 IV when we already had the A7S III for years. So it's like, they come finally phase detect, and it's like 4K 60p with a crop, like just some budget model. And I don't know who's running Panasonic. Their marketing has to be the worst. Like, nobody cares about Panasonic. And it's partly due to you sucking at advertising your own product. You have no image. Like, Sony is embedded in the world with like the best autofocus in the game. All media is using Sony now. Like, I see it on the UFC fights. It's like all Sony cameras. There's a couple people taking pictures with Canon for some reason. They send them to their mom along with their cat photos, but Sony is like known, well known. Everybody wants Sony. It's clinical, it's disgusting. I'll agree with you there. The color science is not all roses and rosehip seed. Canon is known for their color science, the look. It's just like such a pleasing image straight out of camera. Menus being easy, touchscreen, color-coded, even though they're impossible if you want to shoot video, and their cinema cam menus are even worse. but like Canon's known for stuff. Nikon, it's taken them a while to rebrand in the modern world, it seems. Like they were known, like, we're almost as good as Canon for a long time, and they're kind of similar. And now it's like, I don't know what their direction is, but they bought Red, they're getting better at video, they're doing 8K 60 RAW, so Nikon has some hope, and they've always been known for good glass, and they're going telephoto, and it's like, okay, Nikon has their stuff, Fuji has the vintage look. Everybody knows what each brand is. What is Panasonic? Really, when you think of it, like best stabilization, okay, a lot of people use gimbals. I don't want to ever. I would never. So like, I'm with you, Panasonic. Thank you for the best stabe. But like, the colors have always been slightly weird, and just, you're not known for anything, and you're not sexy. That's your problem. That's the main problem. You're not sexy enough. Hey. Okay. You're doing it. You're doing stuff. And sorry I look like I was electrified at an Albert Einstein reunion, but that's what happens when you wear a helmet. All you people, oh, wear a helmet. Yeah, that's the end result. I'm reviewing this scooter soon, by the way. Right next after this video. You better watch it. Here's something that was baffling. They blame Micro Four Thirds not being able to do high enough megapixels for their failure. That's likely the reason they even went full frame. Because they mentioned, like, Sony has their like 45 megapixels, it's so easy for full frame. Micro Four Thirds, you can't really cram it in there. Oh, what were we thinking? How about you do the opposite and go low megapixels, super high video specs, like you almost did with the GH5S, and then you removed IBIS for some reason? That's how dumb you guys are. Oh, they'll just use a gimbal. No one wants a gimbal. You have to balance it. Until there's auto balancing gimbals, go home. It's like the worst thing ever. Oh, I'm getting lower in the shot. Ow. I stepped on a stick. Okay, don't lose my ass. I'm going up this muddy, slippery hill, and I expect to be in focus at the top. Panasonic would focus on me. Oh, I shouldn't have turned around. Ow. Hopefully I didn't cut off my head. So Panasonic, what would I do to change them, change things around? You got to hire some kind of hip marketing team that's like, Panasonic, bro, like, change the shape of your bodies, get things sexy as hell. Just like, get some team together to market you, and then have the specs that I want. Just go focus on video. That's what most people are doing. They call it content creation, and most losers don't want to read. They want to just make videos and talk to the camera. And so, like, we're it. This is it. Video centric. That's what the future is. And take some photos. You'll be able to take photos with the damn thing. Just relax. Low megapixels, super A7S III killer. Like, what are we doing? You abandon your cinema cams. That was another part of the article. We're at 2.8, by the way. I stopped it down. Oh, the discipline. Yeah, you abandon your cinema line. You had all those like EV G1, don't quote me on those names, but cinema cams, and you're like, this is not selling well. Of course they aren't. There's Blackmagic doing RAW. There's Sony with super autofocus. What do you bring to the table? Less of both. So like, come on, do something. Blackmagic RAW, I thought you were in an alliance. Ask them to borrow the RAW things and cook it later if you want. All I know for sure is Panasonic make amazing cameras. I think I would probably rather have the S5 II than this Nikon ZF. There's a lot that it does better. And I could actually vlog with it. I'm back to the Sony for vlogging, and the DJI obviously. But like, this has no hope in hell. Like, Panasonic, you're so close, yet so far away, because you keep catering to something that doesn't matter. No one needs 6K. You know, there's a rumor of a Sony a7S IV coming that's much worse than the a7S III. Like, it's gonna be a new line, but they're gonna capitalize on my name of my camera with way worse specs and higher megapixel. If that happens, wow. I have no threats. They're empty threats. Nothing's gonna change if it happens. I hate when people comment on forums. It's like, when Sony releases something, they're like, guess I'll buy the Canon then. You're not gonna buy a damn thing. You're just threatening, empty threats. We can see it a mile away. So hopefully Panasonic does something, but stop lying, first of all. Nikon. Just go work for Nikon. Join, why don't you add them to the alliance? You're stealing their photos, you like them so much. I bought a G lens, and it's better. It's better than your lens, and it was cheaper. That's the part that hurts. Oh God, that does not look in focus at all. Oh, it better be. It could be. Some of that was likely in focus. The odds aren't good, but I'll leave now. What do you think? Panasonic lying? Like, how embarrassing is that? Japan hears about that, they'll never buy Panasonic anything ever again. They're toast. They're likely the next one out, and it sucks to hear because they had the most potential. They were so close. If they would have just hired me on board, you might have had something, but you don't. I'll leave now. Nikon. Subscribe for more right now, Sandy.